This video contains major spoilers for Persona 5 Royal. The 12th card in the tarot deck, number 11, Strength. It represents courage, confidence, and inner power. In the Persona series, strength is usually associated with characters of strong resolve in the face of adversity. However, that strength hides an inner turmoil of insecurity, and that is no different for Persona 5. The Strength Arcana is that of Caroline and Justine. I'm Ouroboros. Let's talk. If you missed my video on the Fool's Journey, I recommend that you watch it before jumping into this series. It goes over the Fool's Journey and gives a brief rundown of each of the major arcana, so go check it out. Anyway, like I said earlier, the Strength Arcana typically reflects a character who displays strong fortitude, but uses that as a cover-up. In reality, they tend to be deeply insecure about some aspect of their life. They tend to be involved in some physical activity, usually athletics. If we take a look at the tarot card itself, we see a woman opening the jaws of a lion. Despite the ferocious nature of lions, the woman is calm and collected. She is in complete control. She remains focused and composed even in the face of adversity. Lions are symbols of courage, passion, and desire. So, to be able to overcome that challenge is indicative of the indomitable human will to triumph over life. However, if that lion is not continuously kept in check, humanity will swallow itself. Strength is where the Fool learns the self-confidence to take life's challenges head-on. He constantly draws upon his courage and physical and mental fortitude to further gain inner power. It should be noted that while strength can refer to physical strength, it mostly refers to inner strength. Think resilience, passion, and courage, as opposed to just being athletic. That is the general theme of the Fool's Journey anyway. It is about the Fool coming to learn about the world around him, and, in turn, developing a fulfilled sense of self. It is only by sharpening our inner and mental tools that we can be able to craft the exterior that we want. The Strength Arcana, when upright, represents the realized version that we want to present to those around us. When reversed, however, it takes on the meaning of a facade meant to conceal self-doubt, insecurity, and feelings of inferiority. It's pretty clear how this relates to Caroline and Justine. When we meet them, they immediately play a good cop, bad cop role. Except they're both still harsh to Joker. While Caroline does lean into the more impatient and fiery tendencies, and Justine leans into the more calming and nurturing aspects, they aren't exactly welcoming. They both constantly refer to you as inmate, which, to be fair, is the title more or less given to you by Igor. And that is their role throughout the main story. They don't get much development because the bulk of their character arc is confined to their confidant. Unfortunately, the confidant mostly focuses on the fusion requests that they give you. You really don't do much with them outside of spending hours looking at a fusion calculator and hearing Aria of the Soul on repeat. However, we do get hints into their true nature in the waning ranks. They start to commend you on your rehabilitation, which is all fine and good, but they start to question why you need to do this. It's unclear who wrote the request. Neither Caroline nor Justine remember writing it, and Igor seems to be not much of a help either. So, what gives? In hindsight, this is Lavenza and the real Igor slipping through the cracks of Yaldabaoth's facade, but it sucks that this part of the story is confined to the request. It makes the payoff on Christmas Eve really impactful, but I imagine many players didn't see it because they failed to max out the confidant. Once combined, their fake self disappears and Lavenza gains the strength to stand up to Yaldabaoth. I know that the confidant itself doesn't do much to add to the characters. Atlas decided to further expand upon them with their optional outings around Tokyo, but I found these were mostly just fun little excursions rather than meaningful additions to their characters. Don't get me wrong, I still really do enjoy these. They fit in perfectly with the Persona experience, hanging out with friends and such, but they don't further their story at all. Like I said earlier, the reversed strength is representative of a facade, a mask that you show off to the world to protect your insecure inner self. The upright represents the inner strength and bravery to take on life's challenges. Caroline and Justine are the reversed, and Lavenza is the upright. It's not really a slow evolution. They don't progressively begin to find that confidence. It's a quick realization that killing Joker is not their role in the game. That snap decision and their following execution is what leads to them, or rather her, turning over a new leaf. And I find it interesting that Lavenza is also the one who kind of organizes the Phantom Thieves in their fight against Maruki. They don't really have a plan and are unsure of exactly what to do, but Lavenza gives them the initiative to take the fight to him. It's a parallel to her action against the fake Igor in the Velvet Room. We of course have to mention their fights as well. Obviously, the hardest fights in the game should be represented by the Strength Arcana. Unlike other Velvet Room fights, Caroline and Justine use really low-level personas when attacking. I mean, don't get me wrong, that Slime and Jack-O-Lantern still hit hard, but it's almost like they haven't fully realized their own potential. There is one exception though. They'll call upon Arda, a Hindu deity who is the combined form of Shiva and Parvati, a being that is half male and half female, a very fitting exception for their fight. Lavenza, on the other hand, fights using the ultimate personas of various arcana, which is plenty fitting for by far the hardest fight in the game, and one of the hardest in the entire series. She also tests you on nearly every mechanic the game has. It's a very fitting final test, and one that you will almost definitely need multiple attempts for, in addition to the many hours of grinding and very specific persona fusions. In this case, the real-life aspects test your resilience and mental fortitude, and the in-game character's physical strength. The Twin Wardens are my personal favorite of the Velvet Room attendants. I feel that they have the most interesting dynamic with the protagonist, but it's mostly because they are actual characters that have the most tangible impact on the story. They go from being just another attendant to saving your life, standing up to the fake god of control, and setting you up to take down Maruki. Their fights are fun, and while Lavenza can be frustrating, I found it to be immensely satisfying with all of the different phases and mechanics going on. They don't have the most character development in their confidant, but it hints to one of the biggest reveals in the game. Caroline and Justine's, and by extension, Lavenza's, quick realization that their life is fake and subsequent return to bravery is the culmination of their journey as the strength of Persona 5. Thanks for watching.